Do you want to create your own token but don't know where to start? Or do you think that it's complicated, expensive, and you need to be a programmer? Actually, everything is much easier. You can create a token in 10 minutes, and today I will show you how to do it by yourself, step by step. We'll look at the difference between a token and a coin, which blockchains are better to use, and whether you can really make money with it. And at the end, I'll tell you why 99% of new tokens burn out in the first month, and how to make sure yours doesn't repeat their fate. But before we move on to creation, we need to understand one important question. What is a token in general, and how does it differ from a coin? Many people confuse these concepts. In reality, it's simple. A coin is a cryptocurrency with its own blockchain. For example, Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Solana are coins. A token is an asset created on the basis of someone else's network. It does not have its own blockchain, but works inside an existing one. In essence, it is like an application installed on an operating system. For example, in Ethereum, tokens are created using the ERC20 standard. In BNB Chain, tokens are created using the BEP20 standard. In Solana, tokens are SPL tokens. This means that you are not creating a new network from scratch. You are simply issuing an asset that will live inside an already proven ecosystem. That's why making a token is easier than many people think. Now that you realize that a token is not its own blockchain, but an asset within an existing network, the next logical question is, how are tokens created in the first place? Actually, the process is not as complicated as it may seem. All you need to do is choose a network, for example, Ethereum, Solana, BNB Chain. Create a smart contract that describes the properties of your token, name, symbol, quantity, transfer rules, etc. Previously, this required programming experience. But today, there are special platforms where you can create a token literally in a few minutes, even without code. Here are a few such platforms: TokenMint, Moralis, CoinTool, Remint. With the help of these platforms, you can issue your token in just a couple of clicks. Once you have chosen a suitable service, go to the site, specify the name, symbol, total number of tokens, and click the Create button. In 5 minutes, you already have your own token. Yes, indeed, everything is so simple. But it is important to realize that creating a token is just the beginning. Giving it value is the real challenge. Because a token without an idea, without an active community, and without real use is just a record on the blockchain. The real value comes when the token becomes part of an ecosystem, a project, or at least a trend with a story behind it. Now, the main question is, how can you even make money from your own token? I'll tell you right away. You can't just create a token and wait for money in your wallet. Real earnings do not start with the Create button, but with what will be around the token. The first way is to launch the token as a part of a project. It could be a DeFi app, a game, an NFT collection, a DAO, a learning platform, a community, or even a YouTube channel. People are willing to buy tokens if they give access to something useful. Exclusivity, content, discounts, features. A token is like a key. The second way is a hype startup. It especially works for memcoins. You come up with a bright idea, a catchy name, launch marketing through social networks and community. The main thing here is emotion and movement. People don't buy a project. They buy a mood, an idea, an affiliation. Yes, it's risky, but if you have an idea, it's worth a try. The third way is utility. You can build the token into the product. Make paid access, voting, staking, bonus accrual, gamification. People willingly interact with the token if it does something useful, and the more uses, the higher the value. But there is one important thing to consider. Even if you have a perfect name, a cool cover, and a website, but you don't have a community, there's no point. People don't buy tokens, they buy an idea, trust, emotion, and utility. Without people around, it's just a line in the blockchain. With a community, it could be a new trend. You've already figured out that creating a token is half the battle. But keeping interest in it for at least a couple of weeks is the real challenge. Because as practice shows, 95% of new tokens die after a couple of days. Why? Because the authors didn't think through the most important things. The first and foremost thing is the team. People should know who is behind the project. You don't have to disclose your IDs, but it is mandatory to show that you are not a fake, that you have experience, goals, and openness. The more transparent you are in your communication, the higher the trust. The second thing is tokenomics. How many tokens are issued? Who gets them? Are there locks and vestings? If 90% of tokens are held by the team or investors, and liquidity is almost zero, no one will buy. It is important to make a clear, balanced model in which not only you earn, but also users feel fair. The third thing is accessibility. How do people buy a token? Where is it traded? Is there liquidity? It's better to provide a listing on a DEX like Uniswap or Radium right away, flood the liquidity, maybe even organize a listing on a small CX. The easier the token can be bought, the higher the chance that people will be interested in it. And fourth is the community. Even if you have a super idea and balanced tokenomics, a token will not survive long without a lively community. It is important to be active. Maintain social networks, make posts, AMA sessions, and keep in contact with the audience. It is the emotional connection to the project that keeps people engaged, and not just numbers on a chart. If you have all that, your token will live longer than 2 days, and maybe even grow into something bigger. You have already learned how to create a token, how to promote it, and even how to make money on it. But now it's time to talk about something that many people prefer to keep quiet about: legal and moral responsibility. Because as soon as you issue your token and start promoting it, you become not just a coin creator, but the founder of the project. And that means you have a responsibility to the audience, to investors, sometimes to the law. If you sell a token with the promise of growth and future products, it is not just a game of crypto. It can be considered an investment offer. And in some countries, such as the United States, such actions can result in real legal liability. And even if the law does not apply to you, there is a moral side of the issue. If you made a token for a quick profit, sold it to the community, and disappeared, you just became part of a cryptocurrency scam. Remember, reputation in the crypto world is one of the most valuable currencies. So if you create a token, approach it wisely, transparent, fair. Don't promise something you can't deliver on. And remember, people who buy your token will be looking not only at the chart, but also at you. And by the way, if you don't want to chase risky launches and the dream of getting rich quickly, but are looking for a more stable way to make money in crypto, I have a great alternative. It's staking. If you already hold sols or are just about to buy, you can delegate your coins to our validator Robobo and earn up to 11% annually. Your tokens stay with you, just working for you. No trading, no risk of loss. This is a great way to earn passive income in crypto, especially if you believe in Solana and want assets to make a profit right now. You'll find all the links in the description. As you can see, creating your own token is not that difficult. There are dozens of platforms that allow you to do it literally in 10 minutes. But to make this token really mean something, so that someone would want to buy, hold, and use it, that's where the real work begins. Only the idea, the community, and the utility give it a chance to succeed. And if you want to go down this path, approach it consciously. Do not copy someone else's hype, but build your own. And most importantly, remember the risks. Because as soon as you issue a token and start collecting attention for it, you assume responsibility, both legal and moral. If this video has helped you better understand how the token market works, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel.